Hey, I'm Trapper Terry and welcome to another adventure. So today, I'm gonna show you all out there how to survive in the wild. Now I'm in the state of Florida in Palm Beach County, in the woods, in this scrub palmetto slash oak area. And there's also some wetlands over there, some mangrove swamps. And all around you can see saw palmettos. We've got some Spanish moss hanging off an oak tree over here. And I'm out in the wild and I'm gonna show you all the edible plants out here that you can actually eat. Now I wanna make a disclaimer before I do this. Don't anybody try this. I've been doing this forever. I was born and raised in Florida, lived here forever. My dad's lived here, my mom, my whole family, my kids were born and raised here. I know how to live in the woods, I know what to eat. I'm a real good specialist, I taught myself, and through trial and error over 50 something years, that's all I'm gonna tell you, I learned how to live in the wild and what you can actually eat. So follow me along and I'm gonna show you. Remember, don't anybody try this because you could be... Hope y'all can see this. That's the pokeberries. See those right there? That's the actual berries. And they kind of look young like that. So yeah, that's poke. That whole plant's poisonous. Unless they're young, like the ones over there, you can pull the leaves off. And like I said, hate to repeat myself, but you want to do it right. Look up poke salad and study it carefully online. And make sure you only cook the little baby leaves. The plant should be no bigger than about 7 to 10 inches. The young leaves, pull them off, no stems. Boil it 3 times, drain the water, and you're good to go. All right, let me keep going. Some other cool plants out here to survive off of. Hey, so another plant I want to show you. Can anybody recognize what that is? Well, if you've ever had grapes, this is actually called the Muscadine grapevine. Right now, it's just started to grow back from the winter, and as soon as it gets mid to late summer, you can identify those leaves. It's a grape leaf. They're gonna have little mini muscadine grapes about the size of those blueberries. They gotta be purple, and that's when you eat them, when they're purple. If you don't, probably give you a stomach ache and it won't taste that good. So we're coming across to another plant right here. I don't see any fruit on it, but we may find some further up. Has anyone, if you've ever heard of a plant called the cocoa plum? This is the cocoa plum. See the way the plant looks with the leaves right there? You can look up cocoa plum, but as you can see, these little flowers on it right now will turn into a plum fruit about an inch and a half around. They can be purple or a whitish yellow. When they're that color, you can eat the fruit and the skin. Make sure it's soft. Sometimes it tastes a little pithy, kind of dry. Tell you what, if you get the right one, they're really good. I think it's so sweet. And then what I do is with my teeth, I crack it open, and there's little pieces of nut. I just worked the nut out that's inside of here. As you can see it, kind of gnarly. Inside of that pulp, that's all nut right there. Pure protein. This path that I took me onto something I've never seen before. A little bridge right over this little tributary swamp. Wow. Here's a better example of the grapevine, the muscadine. You see that leaf? Remember, most people know what grape leaves look like. So if you can follow that vine, you will find the wonderful muscadine grapes. And look at this, another one of those. See how you can identify this plant? See the leaves? And there's these 2 tendrils that come out of there, and they go all the way up. See that? And this whole stalk right here, the whole thing, you break it off right about here. Like I said before, it's asparagus. Probably better, and if you roast it in the oven with olive oil and pepper, it's delicious. All right, I think I kind of covered most of the plants. I'll see if I can find anything else, but Well, this is really cool. We're in a mangrove swamp, as you can see, I'm pointing out to. And these trees right here, as you can look down, you see those, looks like stems or legs or just appendages coming down from the tree. That tree is the red mangrove. It's a red mangrove tree. And in this swamp, mangrove swamp, there's probably a lot of edible things in here that I don't really know what you can eat. I know there's crabs on the tree. If you were starving, you probably have to cook them. There's one way over there. They're called green mangrove crabs, or just mangrove crabs. I used to call them wood crabs. So I don't know, if you were starving, you could probably cook them. I wouldn't. But yeah, this is a cool mangrove swamp. So we'll keep cruising. Well, I've come to a fork in the road. I was heading up this path. It's clearly marked. There's a path this way that looks real thick and jungly, and then there's a path this way. Which way do I go? Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Okay, this plant right here, I told you about a little bit in the video. This is the beautyberry. It doesn't look too pretty right now. It's kind of out of season, but usually they're real beautiful violet colored berries. And the leaves right here, if you were to take the leaves and pick a bunch of them, crush them all up, and you put them in rubbing alcohol or vodka and let it soak for 3 days. Just pack the leaves in there and fill the top with vodka or rubbing alcohol. It's a natural pesticide. Drain off the fluids that are left because it takes all the oils out of the leaves, and it makes a natural pesticide. And it's safer than all the pesticides you probably buy in the store that have all kinds of crazy chemicals. This only has alcohol and the oil of the leaves. So that's something cool to think about. All right, so I just came across one of the first edible plants. I want to show you this. And remember, I'm going to give you some information about this. Be very careful. You don't want to get this mixed up with poison ivy or something. So the name of this plant right here, as you can see, it's called smilax. It's also known as, that's the Latin name, it is known as greenbrier. And if you look at this carefully, this plant, do you notice? Very carefully, there's 2 leaves, one here, one there. Look at this, 2, like 1, 2. And then you see these 2 things are called tendrils. If you see those 2 little tendrils right there on this plant, and these are the leaves, what they look like. You probably all can associate these with when you're walking through the woods and you're going through the bushes, you come across the thorns on this. You see the thorns on that? And you get scraped up. And everyone can't stand those plants. They're like, why are these out here? And here's a prime example of the thorns. These thorny patches, they call them greenbrier, because I guess they're like a briar in the south. They're all over the southern United States. And you can actually eat these. The tips of these, right here, as you see, you just sort of pull them till they pop off like this. See that? And this little tip right here tastes like asparagus. It's a really good plant. Oh man. Oh God, it's good. So, it tastes actually better than raw asparagus. Also, you can take olive oil and pepper, and the tips of those plants, you can actually roast them in the oven, and they actually taste a little bit like steak. So that's one plant right off the bat you can eat. You can eat it raw like this and swallow it. There's no more in my mouth. I ate it, it's gone. They're not poisonous. Just remember the name, greenbrier. All right, I just came across another edible plant. However, this one, I do not want anybody to ever try this one. It's listed as poisonous. I'm gonna explain why it's listed as poisonous. And in one of my videos, the top 5 natural areas, this is why even a professional can mess things up. I saw the plant, I saw the berries on top, and I said, oh, it's a beautyberry. It's not a beautyberry. It's called poke. A lot of you in the South, Alabama, South Carolina, those areas, you know what poke is. Elvis Presley sang about it, poke salad. Oh, the poke salad, poke salad. You can look that up. But poke salad, S-A-L-L-A-T, is not a salad. You cannot eat this plant raw. See these leaves? Oh, I shouldn't even really touch the leaves. Even the plant is toxic itself, right here. Now, they're all over the place. They're growing everywhere, as you can see. When they're about this tall right here, these little guys, You can pick the leaves off, and the leaves only. I recommend handling with a pair of gloves because, like I said, until they're processed, they're no longer poisonous. And I don't recommend anybody doing this. Southern folks down here, and I do, I've cooked it up before, it's fine. But the process to do all this poke that's growing out here is, and I mean, poke's everywhere. If we're in a survival situation, I could live because this stuff grows everywhere wild. And the berries are very toxic. The whole plant is toxic and poisonous. But the leaves, when they're little like this, if you pick them and wash them, boil them in a big pot of water, little bit of leaves, like a good solid handful of leaves, 20 minutes, boil them, and you can double check poke salad, how to prepare it. You can look all over the internet or YouTube. And you boil it, drain the water, wash it again, do it a second time, the same way for like 20 minutes you boil it in hot boiling water in a big pot till it boils down to almost nothing. Well, not nothing, but just till it boils for 20 minutes. So 2 times, wash the poke leaves again. Don't eat any of the poke stems. Some people do, I don't. To play it safe, just eat the young plants, little leaves. Leaves only. If you see any part that looks pink, scrape it off. That's all you got to do. Do it one more time for good luck. That's what I do. And then after that, 20 minutes, 20 minutes, 20 minutes boiling, washing and draining all times. Then you can saute it. Have it with your favorite eggs and bacon in the morning. It's great. And it's very nutritious. And you can look it up. And here it is. It's in its latent stage right now. And there are berries forming. And see this pink color on it? That right there is the poison part. And when the plant's older like this, with smilax growing on it, it's not edible. And these berries right here, you can barely see them. There they are in there. They're kind of old. They look like raisins. Those actually people use half of them for arthritis. Don't do it. I've never tried it. I've tried the leaves. I've done that the boiling way. 3 times boiling, draining, washing, and then sauteing. Olive oil, pepper, salt. So all right, that's another plant. I don't want anybody to try that one, but you can look up poke, P-O-K-E. And that's the plant, and then the way to prepare it is poke salad. They have tons of recipes online. Just be careful. Another disclaimer, don't try it unless you're with a pro like me, and I'll show you how to do it and cook it for you. All right, let's keep looking. All right, so this is really cool. I just came across a patch in Florida, in Palm Beach County. Wild blueberries. People think blueberries grown in Florida wild, and they're everywhere. Look at this. Y'all know what blueberries look like. This whole patch for probably miles, all wild blueberries. They're not ripe yet. Already tasted a few, they're just green. But look at them. So that's, if you look at it, just like a blueberry, but it's not ripe yet. Yeah, I can taste it's a blueberry, but it tastes like a green grape, not ripe. Kind of hard, but tell you what, boy, when these things get ripe, I hope the animals don't pick them because I might be coming to pick these buggers. They're all over the place. Who would have thought in your own backyard in Florida, and we're in Palm Beach County, that right out here in this beautiful area, there's wild blueberries growing all over the place. They're everywhere. Everywhere. Wow. They're not ripe yet. They'll probably be ripe in about, looks like maybe 3-4 weeks, a little more than a month. I can kind of tell because my property out west, it's all blueberries out here. It's all blueberries. They're mixed in with some scrub, but boy, they are everywhere. I bet you the animals have a field day out here. If there were bears, but I don't think there's any bears out here. They'd be living the life. This is just a huge wild blueberry patch. All over the place. And I know because, like I said, on my property out west in Okeechobee, I saw them a long time ago, and I'm like, that sure looks like a blueberry. I waited till it got ripe, I tried it, same bush, same thing. And boy, they were great, and I ate them all the time, and no problem. But you still want to look up wild blueberries. If you pick the wrong berry out here, another thing I want to say, hate to repeat myself, but no good. Hey, another tip in the wild, when you're out here and you slowly learn how to do this in forage, maybe you go with a professional, One thing don't ever do. If you're sure of one thing, you're 100%, 110%, yeah, you can eat it, but don't eat anything else. Because what if you get an allergic reaction? You go tell the doctor, well, I ate 10 different things, I don't know which one I'm allergic from. So the rule of thumb is don't eat more than one. And if you're a total professional and you know you're not allergic to it and you've done this a million times or were born and raised here like me and have lived off this land, that's a different ballgame. All right, so there's edible weeds that I went out and were picking earlier. This is the smilax weed or vine, otherwise known as greenbrier. And I have a really good recipe for this. All you're gonna need is a tablespoon of olive oil, some pepper, as much as you like, and nothing else. And you're gonna bake in an oven on 350. It says 2 minutes, but ignore that. You're supposed to do it for 5 minutes. And that's pretty much it. And what you do is these little tendrils right here, when they get crispy, it's done. And it tastes just like New York strip or asparagus. You be the judge. All right, I'm gonna put this in the old oven. Also, when you put the olive oil on it, you just kind of swish it around, make sure it gets all over it, and then hit the pepper on it just like this. I use a decent amount of pepper, a few shakes, and that is it. Now, I'm gonna put it right in this oven here, which I'm gonna reset for 5 minutes, and that's all you do, and we'll see the finished product in a little bit. All right, so this is about 5 minutes later. Well, it was a little bit less. It was about probably 3 or 4 minutes. On these type of ovens, these toaster ovens, they're kind of like air fryer toaster ovens. It cooks a lot quicker. Normally on a regular oven, you would probably cook it for about 5 to 7 minutes. But you want to check it. You see how these little guys are getting crispy? Once they get crispy like that, yup, they're crispy. This stuff's just about done, so I'll give it another 30 seconds and then try it out. All right. All right, so the best way is just kind of slide it out a little bit. And with some tongs, these magic tongs, you're gonna reach in and take the greenbrier smilax out and set it right on the plate. Kind of looks like asparagus. So there's none in there. Close it back up. And I'm gonna take it over to the table and try it out. Ready, so here's the big test. I'm going to test out this greenbrier or smilax that I told you about that tastes, to me, kind of like steak. Actually, steak and asparagus combined, it's actually really good. Greenbrier or smilax is the Latin name, and greenbrier can be found all over the southern United States. It is edible. Really do your research, do your homework first before you go out there and try to just start eating any edible weed, because you could get sick or worse. So I'm gonna try it out and tell you what it tastes like. I'll take a nice big bunch of it too. There we go. With all the little tendrils on it. The olive oil. Wow. Hands down. Tastes like I'm eating a steak. I can't believe it. These little crispy parts are great. Wow. You guys gotta go out and try this. Remember, look it up online, read about it. It's called greenbrier. It vines all over the southern United States. It has, looks like little thorns all over it. You've probably seen that. You probably cut yourself walking through the woods. The very tips of it, in the video, if you watch this prior to this video of me eating this, you can see the tips. Those are the ones you pick and you eat. So, wow. I'm gonna finish this up. This is great. And if y'all like this video, please like and subscribe and go out there and go on an adventure. See y'all in the next adventure.